Distracting from mistakes with royal blue. The British flag has become the political weapon of the Conservatives against Brexit opponents and supposedly left-wing liberals. Before the holidays, the daffodils in British supermarkets did not initially attract visitors with their bright yellow, but with a piece of paper that reads, "British grown," from British cultivation with the Union Jack flag. Keep the flowers from the Netherlands. Patriotism is the order of the day. According to instruction from the British Ministry of Culture, the Union Jack should in future blow on all public buildings, not just on public holidays. The flag unites the nation and the population rightly expects it to fly over British government buildings, said Minister of Culture Oliver Dowden, defending the decision. Ministers moving in front of the camera in Zoom calls have to upgrade their living room with a British flag. Woe to this patriotism now derided as hashtag flagging on social media, being ridiculed. And then there's Ruffle. That's what a BBC presenter experienced on breakfast television when he smugly asked a cabinet member whether this enormous Union Jack in the room complied with the new size requirements. Maybe the flag isn't big enough. Co-host Naga Munchetti burst out laughing in front of the camera. The right-wing media railed, "The BBC doesn't understand British patriotism." Munchetti had to apologize. The British government has set up a new room for its press conference for £2.6 million, that's almost 3 million euros, in royal blue, the flag's royal blue, and with so much space that Prime Minister Boris Johnson can see both of them on the cameras and be flanked by mighty Union Jacks on both sides. Johnson loves Union Jacks in general. Perhaps that's why, as mayor, he fell in love with the IT assistant Jennifer Arcuri, who was photographed as Johnson's lover wearing a Union Jack. That was 10 years ago, but when the British Olympic team in jerseys with the Union Jack won their first gold medal, Johnson wanted to zip down a zip line for joy. But then waving British flags in hand was of no use. Johnson was too heavy and got stuck in the air. What was greeted with laughter back then is suddenly bitter serious. The Union Jack has become a political weapon in a cultural war between the Conservative Party and all those forces that do not allow the nation to be proud. This supposedly includes the left liberal London elite, which does not understand the national sentiment of the common man in the north of the country. And that includes all the nagging EU supporters who never tire of listing the economic disadvantages of Brexit. All those bores who don't believe in the planned Brexit museum and who consider the £120 million Brexit festival to be superfluous in the coming year, and they are all un-British. Or in my case, as you always call me, anti-British. The country should be proud. The British have reason enough to celebrate. The United Kingdom is the first country in Europe to reopen its economy after a successful vaccination campaign. The country is experiencing the new 0 hour this Easter. After 56% of all adults have been vaccinated, schools are open again, football can be played again, and there's again a picnic in the park in spring. We have that for quite some time here, by the way. A week after Easter, the shops open again. Well, they're open here for weeks. The new freedom is here. Johnson needs this success to fade memories of the 125,000 coronavirus pandemic deaths and the English virus variant. Therefore, the UK regulator approved Oxford AstraZeneca's vaccine back in late December, although the research data presented by the pharmaceutical company was still incomplete. Not only that, Johnson decided to delay the population's second vaccination to 12 weeks, although this was never the recommendation of the pharmaceutical industry. What's more, while the EU assumed that vaccines would be traded across borders, the British government negotiated with AstraZeneca and BioNTech Pfizer about supplies from the EU, knowing that in return the UK would not export vaccines to the EU. When there was anger in the face of delivery problems from the surprised EU, the British government accused Brussels of vaccination nationalism and naivete. In the meantime, the public in Great Britain did not know that the EU, India and China exported more than 40% of their production, while global Britain, like the United States, exported nothing. The vaccinated population is Johnson's bargaining chip to be able to secure the vaccine for the second vaccination, delivery difficulties or not. Tory MP stated that Johnson, the reason we are successful in vaccination is our capitalism. My friends, greed. Johnson is talking about Britain first without saying so openly. Now Johnson is not the first to pose with the Union Jack. British governments have been fond of using the Union Jack as a symbol of national pride since the flags of England, Scotland and Ireland were united in the common flag in 1801. The Union Jack has been part of the self-image of the United Kingdom, its history, its politics and its society for 200 years. When Gordon Brown feared in 2007 that he would not be accepted as a Scotsman in the office of Prime Minister, he too made an appeal not only to let the Union Jack fly on the 18 scheduled public holidays. The people are proud of the British symbols. The monarchy, parliament are major institutions, including the NHS. Brown understood the flag as a symbol of unity, respected the institutions of democracy. Johnson is not like that. Johnson does not respect British institutions, nor does he use the Union Jack as a symbol of unity. For him, the Union Jack is supposed to hide how much the country is actually still divided after Brexit, how much the border in the Irish Sea in Northern Ireland causes political resistance against London, and how much the Scots separate themselves from England. The election on May 6th will be accompanied by large independence demonstrations that have nothing to do with the Union Jack. Johnson uses patriotism to keep the voters of left-wing Labour constituencies in the north and the traditional Tory clientele anyway. Part of this new national pride is the realignment of defence policy recently announced by Johnson. For the first time in decades, the British Prime Minister wants to increase the number of nuclear warheads in the United Kingdom and give the British military a stronger role in the Pacific. The view turns away, at least outwardly, from the EU. Leaving the EU must have paid off for global Britain. There would be enough to do at home after the pandemic. If the lockdown ends, state subsidies and short-time work benefits also end. Then it will become clear which companies and which employees have survived the pandemic. Instead, the Tory MPs get lost in counting the Union Jacks. The BBC's Director General Tim Davie was recently cross-examined in front of a parliamentary committee by an MP from Norfolk. Do you know how many pictures of flags there were in the last BBC annual report? With all those 268 pages? Asked the MP James Wilde, the BBC boss. 0, snapped the MP at the company boss. He swore that the Union Jack but today proudly flies over the building of the BBC. He always proudly presented the UK on his business trips. It wasn't enough. In the next annual report, the MP said voters would expect more than just a flag. The only question is whether out of voluntary patriotism or forced nationalism. And that is where the real danger is. Here in Germany, of course, because of our past, but still, it's our past, so we probably learned much more from this than others. But from this we learned what we call healthy patriotism is a very good thing. But the moment it turns into nationalism, that is a very dangerous thing. And I'm absolutely sure that quite a part of the UK already crossed the line. The whole government and a major part of the parliament including. And so this is something you really should be worried about and hope for that it will not stay for that long. Because such kind of nationalism, if it grows even further, is a danger not just for the people living there. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel. Auf Wiedersehen.